very warm welcome. Thanks for joining me. It was getting a bit lonely up here. Please do take a seat though. I personally am South African, and I have to say that I did grow up in a township. I did grow up during apartheid, and I suppose in many ways that was a little bit of a double whammy. So for me, the question of empowering young women or girls shouldn't even be an issue. And granted, we can recognize that there have been significant strides made in the past decade or two when it comes to equity, gender equity, women's empowerment, the empowerment and enrichment education of young girls. I think anybody standing in this atrium this evening won't argue that there is a lot more that we still need to do. And I hope that today, at the end of this evening, and certainly with seeing the film, it'll inspire you to act in whichever way that you can, because we all recognize that it doesn't always take 500 people to do one thing to effect change and to make a difference. It takes each and every one of us doing one small things in our lives and in our environments that can affect that change and mean a positive story for young women. But before we do that, I also want to be sure to acknowledge the partners who helped make this happen. They've worked really hard, and I think you'll also appreciate the fruits of their labor a little bit later. Vulcan Productions, 10x10, whose director, Richard Robbins. Richard, where are you? There you are, he's over there. He really was the creative genius behind this film, and when you see the film, you'll understand why I say that. So Richard, good job for you. And also Intel Corporation, whose executive, Suzanne Miller, is also standing over there. So there she is in the blue jacket, she just waved. To all of you, thank you for your hard work, your commitment, and your dedication to this project. I think it makes a huge difference to the question of gender equity and the empowerment of women and young girls. So, I told you I could talk a lot. But I shan't anymore. I shall move straight on to a gentleman who, in effect, really doesn't need any introduction, but I am the MC, so I guess I do have to introduce him. But it wasn't even as long as just a few hours ago that today he said, we can't end poverty without putting girls and women at the center of development. I don't think anyone could frankly have said it any better. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, please put your hands together for Jim Kim, the president of the World Bank.
Welcome everybody to the World Bank. You know, as some of you may have heard, the World Bank is a happening place now. And we're glad to have you here for our regular Thursday party, which looks just like this. You know, the Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, and I have just come from a really remarkable meeting. It was the first time that we've had ministers of finance together with ministers of education to talk about development and to talk about what we need to do to make sure that every child can go to school and that every child is learning. We all agreed on the need to take urgent action to address the global learning crisis, which poses a serious threat to our mission to end poverty and build shared prosperity. Our vision is simple. This should be the first generation in history in which every child, girl or boy, rich or poor, is able to go to school and attain a quality education. And every child should have an equal opportunity to live her life free from threats of poverty and oppression. Every child should be empowered to realize her dreams.